Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is in preparation for trading on April the 14th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So coming up, we have New Zealand dollar rate statement. Again, at this point, not expecting a change in the monetary policy or the interest rate, but again, any kind of forward guidance will be what we'll focus on here. Also, we had CPI numbers come out. CPI numbers did come higher than expected. So inflation has been a concern ever since all the central banks started pumping money into the economies. Here we do see that the CPI numbers were higher than expected. However, the market is not concerned, and we saw the stock market actually take off even higher because they were high, but they were not high enough where the central banks will be concerned and they will change their monetary policy. The Fed will be concerned. At this point, it's okay. Even though it's highest that we have seen in the last little while, they are not concerned. The market's not concerned, so we are moving on higher. Coming up here on Wednesday here, we have President Lagarde speaking here. In addition to her, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking as well. For both of these, again, the important thing we're focusing on would be any sort of comments that would suggest any kind of change in their stance. If the monetary policy stays the same, they're not concerned in terms of high inflation or anything like that, then no big changes here. Same thing here with the other Fed members speaking. Even though Powell's speech is always more important, but any kind of hints that may be dropped by other Fed members can come into play as well. It can change the direction of the market, so watch out for that. Employment numbers here, we are expecting the employment numbers to be okay if they come in as expected. Again, not really looking for any kind of change. It would be the negative employment numbers. If they drop considerably, that will make a difference here. All right, let's go on to our charts. We'll start off with euro dollar here. So yesterday we had talked about how euro was trading in a range. It went right through that and right into the second level. We had discussed 1950 here. So this looks bullish. So bias here is bullish. It's out of that range here that it was trading in. And now we are looking for a continuation higher. So in this case, I would look for a bit of a pullback. We do need to see the price hold above 1.1920 and then looking for a continuation higher towards 1.1990. So bias is bullish. Only thing to keep in mind here is if it goes through the support here, then we are back into this range once again. But at the moment, we're looking for a continuation move higher. One thing to keep in mind here, if you were to take a look at the 1 hour here, it's quite an inefficient move here. So this is why we have to be careful. If it comes through the support level at 1.1920, we could see the price come down back into this support. So this is where the price took off. So this is the inefficient move which can get filled. But right now we will watch 1.1920. Okay, so bullish bias for euro dollar, pound dollar here. This one's still trading in a range. It hasn't really been able to get out of this range. We are going to look for a similar thing here as well. If the price breaks out of the range and holds above here, then next target will be higher towards 1.3840 and potentially 1.3920. Now that is not quite ready yet at this point. It is still stuck in a range. So we have to keep an eye on what happens at the top of the range. So I'm looking for price to retest 1.3780, which is the top of the range here. And then if it goes through, then we're going to look for that move higher, pull back, and a continuation higher. So right now, neutral bias for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one's still trading in a range. We did see price drop back towards the support here, and then it bounced off. So this was based on all the inflation numbers that came out. Price dropped prior to that, but then it went up because of the inflation numbers. So at this point, US dollar not looking that great, but price here is still trading in a range. So right now the bias is neutral for Aussie dollar, and it will continue to stay neutral until we see price move out of the range. So I'm looking for a retest of the high. If it holds below, we are back into the range again. So neutral bias for Aussie dollar at this point. New Zealand dollar here, same scenario. We see price dropped into the support level here and then took off. So quite choppy in terms of the move, but it has been choppy for the last few days here. And as of course we can see, price is still trading in a range here. So I'm looking for price to go towards 0.7070. Now, we do have numbers coming out, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand statement coming out. That can have an impact on the price, especially in the Asian market when the liquidity is low, price can move a fair bit. So keep an eye on that. Right now, it is neutral, looking for price to test 0.7070, which is the top of the range. If it continues through that, then this entire move could get filled and we'd be looking for price to move higher. So right now, a neutral to bullish bias. Next target is 0.7100, but only after it goes through that resistance level, and then 0.7165. So neutral to bullish here. Dollar CAD here, we see the opposite of what we saw for the other two here. Price went all the way into the high and then a drop. So this is a nice bearish candle close. However, it is still trading in a range. So we have to wait. Now for this one here, I'm looking for price to drop back into the support level here. And this will be the main decision point here. If it holds above, then we are still looking for a range bound move. However, if it does go through, then we will look for a continuation. But the next move won't set up till we see price retested into the support here. So 1.2500 is the first target. Right now, neutral to bearish bias, and we will keep an eye on 1.2500. Let's take a look at our commodities here. Silver looking bullish. So overall, with the positive inflation numbers here, even though inflation went up, but because it didn't go up that much, that the central banks will be concerned, this is a good sign for the stock market. And with the stock market, we have seen all these other assets go up here as well. So this looks bullish. I'm looking for a move back towards 2560, and if it goes through 2583 or 85 level. So bullish bias here. The concern, or something that we'll have to watch out for, will be the reaction at this level here, because it's still a range, and if it doesn't go through, we are back into the range here. So still looking like a range bound move, but it looks bullish at the moment. Gold here, also same thing, price is bouncing off of the support level. So looking for it to go into the resistance at the top of the range. 1756 is the first target. And only if it goes through that, then we are looking at next one here, 1775. So bullish bias with caution though in regards to the resistance. Oil here, same thing here for oil right into the top of the range, but hasn't been able to go through yet. So watch out. We do need to see a close on the other side. So I would say neutral to bullish, slightly bullish here. Doesn't seem to have any kind of trend at this point. It's just been going sideways here. This is all it's doing. It's been stuck in this range for ages now and doesn't look like it's getting out of it anytime soon. So if it fails here, 60.90, we are back into the range. In that case, looking for a move towards 58, but we'll see what the reaction is at 61 level. Copper here, copper also looking quite dead, just sideways at this moment. Neutral, completely neutral candle close for the day here. Didn't really move much. So neutral wise for copper as well. I'm just expecting it to trade within this range. Nothing major. We may see a move higher here towards 4.03. So neutral bias for copper. Bitcoin finally broke through that resistance that we talked about. It held above the support level, and there we are. It's at 63,250 right now, looking for a move higher towards 65,000. So bullish bias here for Bitcoin. S&P 500 also looking bullish here with that positive news in regards to CPI coming within the range where it doesn't concern the market. That's a good news for the market. So we saw that move higher. Again, it's not that great of a move. The momentum seems to be lacking, but then again, the momentum was lacking here as well. And here we are. So right now, still looking bullish. 4175 is the target for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, Nasdaq also had that push higher that we saw because of the CPI numbers. It went through the resistance and it's still looking bullish. So the target here is 14,000, so 120 will be the first one. So bullish bias here for Nasdaq. Dow Jones here, this is the only one that actually struggled here. And even this one didn't quite hold through the support level, but it's not looking that strong. It's still moving higher. It still has that upward momentum here. It's just not very strong, but the momentum is still there. The trend is still to the upside here. So we could see another move, a higher neutral bias right now. Doesn't have clear direction at this point. So we'll just have to wait and watch. If it bounces off of, if it holds above today's low, which is 33,550, then I'm looking for a move higher in this one as well. So the market move that we could anticipate will be something like this. So bias is neutral here for Dow Jones. DAX here, DAX still stuck in that very, very narrow range. So it's holding above the support level, which means there's still bullishness in this. So bullish bias here, neutral to bullish, I would say. Next target here is 15,300. If it goes through that, then 15,500. But for now, neutral to bullish bias for DAX. FTSE here, FTSE is holding. It held the bottom here, the support level. So in this case, we could see a move higher towards the top of the range here, which is at 69.50. So bias is bullish, but it's starting to form a range here. And just the fact that it's holding above this previous level, which means it wants to go higher. So bullish bias there for FTSE. And then Nikkei here, Nikkei also held the support level. It's still in this range. It wasn't able to go through the support level, even though we did have nice bearish candle close, just like we did here. It just couldn't make it through, which means we could see a move higher towards the top of the range, perhaps at 30,275. But prior to that, I would target the pin here. So right now, stuck in a range, it is sideways, so neutral to bullish, looking for a move back towards the top of the range. All right, so that's it. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.